Hey guys, Ryan here, Urban Capital Group. Super stoked for another training. Today we're going to talk about the second half of taking seller leads. So you've already opened up the call with the seller and probably went a little something like, hello, this is Ryan from Urban Capital. How can I help you? John, let's just say for instance, calls in and says, hey, I got your letter in the mail about a property at 102 Lycoming Drive, Coraopolis, PA 15108. So right off the bat, the seller has given me the property address. Now we can start digging in and getting information while talking to them on the phone. This is going to allow us to build rapport, begin gathering information so that we can verify what they're saying on the phone, and then we can dive right into gathering a quick after repair value estimate using the MLS. Now, to do this while we're talking on the phone with the seller, we're going to have to be pretty comfortable with the flow of the call. So let's just say John calls in. He gave us that address here, 102 Lycoming Drive, Coraopolis, PA 1508. What I can do as I'm talking to him on the phone, and it might sound something like this, I'd probably say, okay, John, appreciate the call. Let me just go ahead and see if I'm familiar with that address. Now, while I do that, I'm going to be typing it into Google. So I'm going to type in 102 Lycoming Drive, Coraopolis, PA. It automatically comes up. I can say, okay, this is in the Moon area, and boom, I can pop right down in front of the house, and I could say, okay, John, I have it up here. Let me ask you this. Is it the house with the big oak tree in front, and it's gray? And he's going to say something like, oh, yeah, yep. And I say, okay, perfect. So we're looking at the same house. That's a quick way to go ahead and build rapport with him. Now I can talk to him. I can say, okay, John, well, thanks again for calling. Just have a few questions about the house and the situation itself. I'll make it easy. Just go ahead and tell me a little about the house. So he's going to start telling me that it's a 3-bed house, etc., etc. I'm taking notes. Now, because I'm comfortable with the call and the flow of it, what I could do here for looking at the mind map is, now we've pulled the property up on Google Maps. Now we want to get more property information so we can verify what the seller is saying. So I'll come to the county website, which no worries, I'll give you a link for that. We come in, we type in the house number, the street name, and we hit search. When it pops up, okay, this is the main portion of the county website here, and this is where we can see lots of things. We know the school district, which we want to take note of. We know it's a single family house. Okay, last time it was sold was in 1980 for $1. We also know the lot size, okay, or the area of the lot. That's on the general information tab. Then we get building information. This is where we're going to learn about the house itself. So we can see it's a 3-bed, 1.5 bath house, right around 1,100 square feet. This is all important information for us to go and try to figure out what this house is worth when it's done. The main items that we will need to gather this value is the property address, the school district, the bed and bath count, and then the square footage of the house. The rest of the information we're going to gather from the seller, the condition of the property, etc., etc. What I will do here is I'll also look at the owner history just to see what the owner paid for it and when it was last sold. We can also click on the image here just to make sure we're looking at the right house. Okay, but this is going to allow us to compare what the seller is saying to the information that's on the county site. Now, I've got the property address. I also have enough information to where I can go and pull up a quick after repair value on the property. So I know it's a 3-bed, 1.5 bath house, about 1,100 square feet. So I can use that as my subject property when I go to pull comparables. Now, we use the matrix system for the MLS, and this is the home page. If you're a licensed agent, we'll just use your login. If you're working directly with us as an unlicensed assistant, then what we'll do is just give you my username and password. So for instance here, when I'm going to go in and use the MLS to get a quick ARV, what I'm going to be doing once I get on this home screen is I'm going to click the search tab. When the search tab, I scroll my mouse over it, I also can see residential. More often than not, we're dealing with residential properties. And then this screen comes up. Okay, this is going to allow me to put in some of my criteria of the house. What I like to do here is just click active, sold, and contingent. Okay, this is going to let us know what's on the market actively right now for sale, what's under contract right now for sale, and what has sold over the last 6 months. This is 0 to 180 days. The solds are where I'm going to get my after repair value. So what I'll do here is I'll go back into the map. Okay, now I can see that I've got this whole entire region. Now I don't know where the house is, so I can go back to my Google Maps tab, click on the map, I can go back to the map here, and when I search the address, it'll give me a pin. Now I can scroll out, okay, and I can see, okay, University Boulevard, there's Lycoming Drive, perfect. Now I can go back to the MLS, I can look at the map. Once I scroll in, I'll go up here, there's the airport, okay, there's University Boulevard, that's what I'm looking for. And then, bam, there is Lycoming Drive. Now what I want to do is use this tool right here. This is the radius tool. Now I have Lycoming Drive. And I usually like to go out about 0.35 miles. That's a pretty good gauge here. And then what I'll do is I'll go, the blues are solds, and the greens will typically be actives and contingents. So, in this case, I've got 3 sold properties, okay, that are up in the similar neighborhood. Notice how these properties here are all townhouses. Well, these aren't going to be comparable properties to what we're looking at. But here, this house, look, if you go back and look, it's very similar looking to the houses in the neighborhood. Notice how most of them are split levels or ranch style properties. Well, this one's the same. So I've got a 162 3-bed 2-bath. I have a 3-bed 1-bath at 154, and then I have a 3-bed 1-bath at 155. My quick analysis here would be to say that the property is a 155 to 160 house based on the sales for the last 6 months. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about there. I could also go back a little bit farther in time. So I'll go back to the solds, hit 365, and see if anything else sold. And boom, another sold comes up at $155,000. Using this, I've got a great idea of saying, you know what, 3-bed, 1.5 to 2-bath homes sell for 155 to 160. When I gather that quick after repair value estimate, now I can compare it to what the seller is asking and how motivated they are to sell. As I said before, it's going to take some time to get comfortable enough to be able to do this while talking to the sellers. So more often than not, as we're getting started, we're going to be on the call with the seller, gathering as much information about the property as possible, wrapping up the call, letting them know, hey John, really appreciate your time. What I'm going to do is do some research, and I'm going to follow up with you here in the next day or so. Once we get off the call, that's whenever we will go ahead and pull our property up on Google, the county website, and get a quick ARV so that we can then decide if it's worth it or not to go out on the property appointment. I hope that was a good little quick training for you to be able to go ahead and gather property information and get a quick after repair value estimate. Thanks, and see you next time.